Oh, Tashbele, hello everyone. I hope all of you are doing good. And welcome back to Lojong session. Yeah, so before we start the teaching, I thought spend few moments to do some mantra recitation practice, dedicating to all the sentient beings in samsara, and particularly those of humans and animals that who are suffering from natural disasters like a fire crisis that happening in Europe, like in Russia, and the flood crisis that which is happening, in Europe, in Southeast Asia, in Asian countries, or any part of the world. Dedicating this practice to pacify the suffering and purify the causes of all these sufferings, and also contribute as a protection for the prevention of future such sufferings like that. So we will do that on the basis of setting proper refuge in Guru Buddha Dhamma Sangha and generating altruistic intention, so that whatever practice that we accumulate, it accumulate in a vast merit, and that merit we can able to dedicate to all the purposes, and that will be most effective. It will be a great contribution, and also dedicate this practice for anyone that who are going through the pandemic, difficulties, people who are dying, people who pass away, or people who live in fear, and also those of any individuals that I know, who are going through health crisis, health, tragic situations. So we dedicate this practice also for them to overcome all those health challenges and able to meet, able to get qualified doctor, effective medicine, and able to overcome from any form of how chronic sickness it may be, but able to cure from it, and and most importantly, in whatever lives ahead, in any situation, life be the most meaningful. Life be most meaningful in virtues, in contentment, and in the wisdom of understanding the impermanent nature, the samsaric nature of our human life existence, and able to have the courage and wisdom to accept that what we are going through, and able to have the wisdom to vision and think in a bigger picture, by understanding the life doesn't end with one lifetime of this life. Life continues. The external aggregates, the gross aggregates we discard, but that doesn't mean the journey of life ends. And if we stay focused in virtue and in the wisdom of life and rebirth, and think for the long-term benefit by accumulating, virtue, by cultivating love, compassion, contentment, selfless acceptance, then it's like even we experience the death is very much like going to bed and wake up from the sleep in the tomorrow morning, with a fresh life, fresh body, fresh living, because of the exhaustions of the contaminated aggregates, the samsara aggregates. Then when we pass away, leaving these aggregates away, it's very much like we go to rest. Even when someone dies, in our conventional language we say rest in peace, isn't it? In fact, it's very much like resting. It's very much going into bed. Then the journey through Bardo is very much like going through the sleep state. Then when you reincarnate, it is very much like waking up the next morning with fresh, lively, youthful, strong body. So this can be done easily if we accept the nature of samsara, understand the nature of impermanent, then and have the wisdom of reincarnation, then have the mindfulness to prepare conducive causes for that which is gathering virtue. Gathering virtue, not necessarily that you have to be Buddhist or spiritual kind of believer. Gathering virtue means just simply, cultivate love and compassion, like what we're going to do. Anybody can do, thinking of there's so many people are suffering in the world, like from this natural disaster, and just feel for them and wish that they may they be free from all those sufferings. And that is the virtue, and whether you're a believer or not, spiritual practitioner or not, we do watch TV, we do watch news, we all know that what's going on in the world. Then, and also, whether you're a believer or not, everybody do feel for those suffering beings, isn't it? So you are gathering virtue naturally. But here, just to comfort your mind and recognize that I am, gathering all the necessary virtues for my betterment of the future life, where I can be more serviceable to the cause of, world and the sentient beings' happiness. You see, so then with that mindfulness, then don't fear, don't panic. Yes, physically they may be painful, so go and take the medicine. Physically, they may be needed to do operations, go for it. But try to release our grasping from permanent grasping to our life, that like it's like shock about that, I maybe die. No, the nature in fact is life, and the death is supposed to experience, just matter of time. Just matter of time, everybody going to die, just matter of time. You see, so try to release the permanent grasping, and that way you tend to experience acceptance. When you experience acceptance, you experience peace, you experience openness, openness to the any possibility that comes in your way in next moment, in coming days. It could be even the death, and you easily can able to embrace the death. So from the Buddhist point of view, that is so important, because at the time of death, it's important to have a virtuous mind, which is the most powerful causes and condition to link us, link our continuum to the higher reincarnation. Now you see, so like that, okay. Sangye Jodang Zoje Jonala Janju Badu Dane Jazunje Daji Jinzoje Besonamje Dola Benje Sangye Dubarai Jo Sangye Jodang Zoje Jonala Janju Badu Dane Jazunje Daji Jinzoje Besonamje Dola benje sanje dubarai jo sanje jedang zoje jonala chanju bado dane jazunche daje jenzo jebe sonam je dola benje sanje dubarai jo Gange doze ne zone dawa damje bambe jere dambe jene denze be godam de la cha che lo donye nyinje zondo ju be la ma zeje zenje ganje den de chana be mo denze ja zo la so wa de zonda ju jinje lo semje damje dewa dan deve ju dan dembra ju je semje damje dunga dan dunga je ju dan dawra ju je semje damje dunga me be dewa dan mi dawa ju je semje damje nyire cha dan ye dan dawe dan yola ne bra ju ro je semje damje dewa dan deve ju dan dembra ju je semje damje dunga je ju dan dawra ju je semje damje dunga me be dewa dan mi dawa ju je semje damje nyire cha dan ye dan dawe dan yola ne bra ju ro je semje damje dewa dan deve ju dan dembra ju je semje damje dunga je ju dan dawa ju je semje damje dunga me be dewa dan mi dawa ju je semje damje nyire cha dan ye dan dawe dan yola ne bra ju ro Yeah, so we will recite Compassionate Buddha Cherise's mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum, then Guru Rinpoche's mantra, then Tara's mantra, then Medicine Buddha's mantra, then Marichi's mantra. Jadong Golo Jube Jabodon, Jendong Gawa Zamba, Zanje Dongala, Gandu Delan, Debe, Zumba Jere Zela Chase, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme 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 Yeah, you can, while reciting the mantra, to visualize infinite light rays in the nectar, nectar flow with the light rays. If you are visualizing Chenrezig on top of your crown in the space, or if you are becoming Chenrezig, if you have generated, if you have the initiation, then you can generate yourself as a Chenrezig. Then from your entire existent, your body, emanate infinite light rays to entire numberless sentient beings, in particularly to those, those whom that you are dedicating this practice, those suffering beings. So then, as usual, when we move to the next deity, then the earlier one, naturally emerge, the light emerge into the next deity. So the deity is very much in the light energy form, and that naturally emerge into the next deity. So like that. Om Mani Padme, Om Mani Padme, Om Mani Padme, Om Mani Padme, Om Mani Padme. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om A Hum Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Hum, Om A Hum Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Om A Hum Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Hum, Om A Hum Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Hum, Om A Hum Benza Guru Pema Siddhi. Yeah, so as mentioned in the past, I hope you remember, if in case if there are any, one or two new people in the session, then the purpose of emanating light and the nectar, by reaching out, the light and nectar to the sentient being through your visualization, then instantly you should feel, you should have a conviction that due to the power of the Buddha and the enlightened quality, that suffering and the causes of suffering purified right there, and abide them in the state of liberation in the deityhood, like in the Chenrezighood, like that. Omao benzanguru bemazede omao benzanguru bemazede omao benzanguru bemazede omao benzanguru bemazede omao benzanguru. Omao benzanguru bemazede omdare dudare dure soha omdare dudare dure soha omdare dudare dure so. Omdare dudare dure so omdare dudare dure so omdare dudare dure so omdare dudare dure so omdare dudare dure so. Omandare dudare dure zo taya tha om beganze beganze ma beganze beganze randa samoga de so taya don beganze beganze ma beganze beganze samoga taya don beganze beganze ma beganze beganze randa samoga de so taya don beganze beganze ma beganze beganze randa samoga de so taya don beganze beganze ma beganze beganze randa samoga de so taya don beganze beganze ma taya don beganze beganze ma beganze beganze randa samoga de so taya don beganze beganze ma beganze beganze randa samoga de so taya Daya daum begaze ma begaze randa samonga de so ha om mari zemam 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 om mari zemam so 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 Om Mari Zaman Zo, Om Mari Zaman Zo. Chondam Jaki Baila Zamada, the Yingame, Dubalame, Taja Jungo Jezzer, the Jumi Jazo, some similar Jibagulani, the Jadozo, Javadi, you know, the Osejama, Ruju, Jamali. There's a long over, Javadi, Nudo, Lama Sanja, and to watch Jamali, but there's a long over Jambeba, which the Jamada Kudo, somebody, and the Dakuji. Java data damje rab dongo de zo jebe Java damje de ngo wang lo ju dongo ba de da je jebe za ba de ngo je sambo ju je rab dongo ba ra je semje ne ba je ni ba nyu do ne da ju ju de ne da do ju wa me ba jo pa ma sem je damje de na de ju jing ro damje da do do wa da ju sem ba ka na zo je ba de da ko je mo lam do yo ro je. So if you have mala, you can blow to the mala. If not, you can blow to your hand. Then you can also heal yourself if you have any, pain or you needed to heal, or if you feel that you need to heal your heart, then you touch around your heart like that. Okay, thank you. Yeah, so we are studying from the great collections of mind training teaching, Lojong, and we are at this time we are studying from the Dhammarashita's text. What do you call the peacock's neutralizing of the poisons, or the peacocks roaming in the jungle of virulent poisons. And we are on page 162, if you are using the same volume, page 162, and we are on the 4th chapter, which is starting from the verse 40. So the 4th chapter very much focus in concerning with the way of serving the Buddha's teaching by individual practitioners through such as learning, contemplation, meditation, that including observing such as the patimoksha or the Vinaya vows, etc. So this chapter is very much how to perfectly serve the Dharma in whatever manner that you take Dharma into your life. In particularly, how to serve the Dharma by fulfilling the Buddha's intent of altruistic practice, like such as a Lojong practice, or such as the practice of bodhicitta and emptiness. This chapter is also very much focused on what are the faults, very much emphasizing what are the false and the wrong views that to be refuted, refuted in order not to dilute or not to obstacle or not to contaminate negatively in the preservation of Dharma or in the service of Dharma, in the benefit of the Dharma. Of course, the ultimate negation or the false view is very much referring to self-grasping and self-cherishing, and that comes, the phases of self-grasping and self-cherishing comes in many different aspects, many different manifestations. So this, following verses will illustrate those different phases, those different manifestations of self-grasping and self-cherishing that comes, while we are practicing the Dharma. Then to recognize them and to annihilate them, to refute them, like that. And also in the literal word in this following verses are used, it can be quite harsh. It can be quite challenging to digest, especially for the newcomers, who don't have the exposure in the differences between the interpretive and definitive teaching. Then when you hear the word literally, it sounds like wow, well, even in the Buddhist way, the wording can be so drastic and so harsh, but those harsh words, those drastically wordings are very much be understood, the intensity, the seriousness of the negations, the seriousness of the faults that need to be purified, that need to be refuted. So so simply showing the seriousness of those false views and the negations, how serious to be refuted in order to preserve the Dharma purely in whatever manner that you are practicing the Dharma, just because of that, So they are like using the name of, how to say, like kind of like, chasing away the dog, etc. Yeah, like that. So yeah, people who love the dogs, then they will be so sad, how can you use dog in that kind of sayings, like that. It doesn't mean, of course, it is specifically, being a Mahayanic Dharma in Lojong, all sentient beings are equally to be respected, but sometimes the using of this analogy, the like cultures in the past, not nowadays, but yeah, there's some, but not as serious as in the past, like in India. Many stray dogs are, very, the common people, very kind of badly treated, and anything kind of like worthless, disturbances, and they very much like, scold them in the name of dog, etc., like that, just because of that. So anyway, it says like this. The chapter started with the peacock roaming in the jungle of virulent poison. Yeah, from just from the title, we have to understand roughly what to be expected. As mentioned in the past, the peacock here referring to the bodhisattvas, and like in our case, who aspire bodhisattva's path, who aspire Lojong's path, So we are very much prepared to transform those poisonous experiences. It could be suffering, it could be delusions, like such, including anger, attachment, whatever comes in our way, that we need to have the immune system to able to digest them, to able to transform them, to able to make it beneficial to the path rather than harmful to the path. But then, of course, if we behave like a crow, if our thinking, our maturity is like a crow, then you try to consume the poison, then you will dead, and the poison will kill you, So therefore, that we need to have a stable immune system of, the Dharma teaching, Dharma practice, like such as, correct understanding, well and correct understanding in emptiness, well and correct understanding in bodhicitta, well and correct understanding in the tantric paths, So in short, well and correct understanding in the three principal aspects of the path. Then, we carry the immune, the resilient, the immune, like how peacock carry, then when you consume any of these poisonous plants for the peacock, it benefits to beautify, to healthiness of the feathers and the body, it benefits. So similar way for bodhisattvas and those who aspire bodhisattva practice, all these obstacles, can be so beneficial to purify our karma and to nurture the strength in our practice. You see, so like that. So homage to Lord Yamataka, because the main antidote to all these, poisons of delusions and karma and suffering is the emptiness. So that's why you pay homage, to Yamataka. So verse 40, it says, though you may be a perfect monk like Upali and possess a wonderful heedfulness like Ashwajit, if you fail to guide your parent on the path to enlightenment, this liberation of self-joy must be trampled under feet. underfoot. So the Upali is one of Buddha's disciple, one of Buddha's outstanding disciple that who observe, pure discipline, pure ethic, steady, practitioner on the path, who already have achieved arhatship. Then Asvajit is also one of the another Buddha's disciple that who is again, perfected in his practices, who is already arahat, and not only that, he carry this elegance of his speech, elegance of his look, the handsomeness, the attractiveness in all his, external aspect, who illustrate very obviously the arahat qualities, like peacefulness, lovingness, kindness, etc. So here, Dhammaraj, they're giving the example of these two arahat. So even though you and me or anyone may be perfected monk like Upali, of course not, but of course not me, but I mean, even in case anyone is, as perfected monk like Upali and possess wonderful headfulness like Ashwati, Ashwajit, if you fail to dedicate your life liberating, rest of the numberless sentient beings on the path to enlightenment, then how great arhat you may be, how perfected arhat, like even you may be like Upali and Ashwajit, the self nirvana is to be negated. It should be abandoned. Not to be pursued. In comparison to the vastness of the benefit, the greatness of the benefit that it has in the path leading sentient beings on the path to enlightenment. So if you fail to guide your parents, you're referring to all the mother sentient beings on the path to enlightenment, on the path to ultimate liberation, which is Buddhahood. This liberation is referring to the self-nirvana, the nirvana that achieved by the arahats of hearers, and nirvana that achieved by the arahat of the solitary realizers of the lower yana. And that state of the nirvana, even though it's a virtuous, even though it's an object to be achieved in generally, but then in relation to the Mayanic path, then it falls in the category of negation. It falls in the category to be abandoned because of the limitation of the benefit of the self-liberation in comparison to the Mayanic path. You see, so there's a two distinction that we need to know. So let's say if someone debate with you, is the self-liberation of the nirvana is virtue or not? The answer should be yes. Then the self-nirvana, since it's virtue, to be adopted, isn't it? It's a yes. To be achieved, isn't it? It's a yes. It's object to be achieved, isn't it? It's yes. It is a state of liberation, isn't it? It's a yes. But then to the path of to the path of enlightenment, to the pursuer, the path of the ultimate liberation of enlightenment, then the nirvana peace to be achieved or not? Then the answer is no. But it's to be achieved because it is a virtue. Say, if virtue in general, but in comparison to the Mayanic path, it is obstacle. You see. So therefore, in the pursuit of the path of the enlightenment, full enlightenment, then the nirvana peace is an obstacle. So obstacle means non-virtue. Obstacle means it to be negated, it to be purified, isn't it? So it sounds like a contradictory, but in relation to the Mayanic path, it is obstacle. In relation to the Mayanic path, it is to be discarded. In relation to the Mayanic path, not to be pursued. In relation to the Mayanic path, you need to take nirvana peace as a negation. You see, so these two differences have to know. So trample under the foot means to be eradicated, to be purified, to be not to pursued. It's talking about that. So verse 41, though you may, so verse 40, so the conclusion is that how great knowledge that you may have, how great, arhat you may be, how great practitioner you may be, to the path of altruism, to the path of Lojong, to the path of the Mayanic Dharma, then as long as you don't take your central objective, which is concerning the well-being of numberless sentient beings, ultimate benefit of enlightenment, then the path is meaningless. The practice is meaningless. The practice is not worth. You see, so you see, so that's the meaning. So this we have to understand that even especially the monastic, Vinaya practitioners, even in the Vinaya, when we talk about, the preservation of Dharma, is mentioned that preservation of the Vinaya precept, Vinaya, the Patimoksha vow, individual liberation vow, and just be contented with that, and not expand, our heart in altruism. Then the purpose of life is limited. In that sense, the purpose of life is regarded limited. So therefore, not to be contented just with the Patimoksha vow, individual liberation vow, the monastic vow. You need to open your heart, pursuing the benefit beyond one's own liberation, beyond one's own liberation. For one's own benefit, just achieving, liberation is wonderful. Self-liberation, nirvana is wonderful, but that is a great limitation, because it doesn't benefit to rest of the sentient beings. It is very much you abandon rest of the sentient beings, who are as precious as your parent, and who has been your parent before. It is your duty when you meet the path of the Buddha. Then it is your duty. We have to take the full responsibility to liberate rest of the mother sentient beings, rest of the sentient beings, to the state of full enlightenment. So then verse 41, though you may achieve expertise in all field of knowledge and impress all fools with your reputation, if you do not uphold with your crown the great burden of teachings, this should all be dismissed like the dance of the madman. So anyone, like such as holinesses, rinpoches, geshes, teachers, sanghas, yogics, practitioners, scholars, professors in the Dharma, whatever, you may achieve expertise in all field of knowledge, or you may be one person who have all those titles, all those reputations, and able to impress, all the, able to impress many others. Here it says all the fool with your reputation, especially to those who don't understand, the Buddha's real intent to you, pursuing the Buddhist knowledge. then those are regarded, in the category of fools. You see, mm, mm, uh, uh, the students or the individuals that who don't understand the main objective of learning Buddha Dharma, contemplating Buddha Dharma, meditating Buddha Dharma, practicing Buddha Dharma, encountering Buddha Dharma, relating to Buddhist teachers, relating to Buddhist scriptures, relating to Buddhist institutions. The ultimate goal, not understanding that it is for enlightenment, if it's still regarding that it is for this very lifetime's kind of intellectual knowledge. Buddhism is just for intellectual knowledge. Buddhism is just to space out. Buddhism is just to kind of just to be scholar. Nothing to do with liberation. Etc. Then this group of people falls in the category of fools. And those who mentioned earlier, having all those expertise can able to easily impress them. Then, but if you do not uphold with the crown the great burden of teachings, who don't uphold the practice, and who don't uphold the practice of the three training, three higher trainings, higher training in moral ethic, higher training in concentration means to able to guard your emotion, to able to guard your mind. Then wisdom, the higher training of wisdom is someone who is selfless. Someone who is selfless in the service of Dharma, selfless in the service of your student, selfless in the service of preservation of the Dharma. Someone that who not exploit, not exploit the Dharma. Someone who don't misuse the Dharma. By the mindfulness concentration, that which you have the capability to, control your negative emotion, suppress your negative emotion, guard your three doors, Then moral ethic, minimum moral ethic of, if you cannot benefit others, at least, someone that who not harming others. If you cannot benefit, at least not harming others. This is very minimum Buddhist moral ethic. Then on top of that, especially who carry the reputations of gurus, Buddhist scholars, Buddhist yogis and practitioners and sanghas or senior practitioners, etc. Then, who purely hold the refuge precepts minimum, hold the refuge precepts. Then holding the 5 lay vows, then if it's sangha, then pure, pure monastic vows, then who are tantric practitioner, then who on top of all those earlier mentioned precepts, and who is holding pure Bodhisattva vows and pure tantric vows, pure samayas. You see, so if you don't hold, if you do not uphold all these values, or the great burden to your crown, or if you don't carry that responsibility of the Buddha's teaching, then this should be dismissed like the dance of the madman. So that kind of teacher, that kind of so-called who carry the name of monks and nuns, even carry the name of like holinesses, Geshes, Rinpoches, teachers, scholars, senior practitioners, or newcomer practitioners, how many guru you may have, how big institution you are part of it, how well known you may be, how high position that you may holding, that kind of people should be dismissed like the dance of the madman. Means means you should not trust them. You should not relate to them. You should not. It's very much you should not learn from them because they will mislead you. You see, it's very much it should be regarded as negative friends, in your spiritual path. In your spiritual path, if someone who don't hold this, 3 values of 3 higher trainings, especially of those to whom that you relate as object of respect, if they don't practice that, then you have to like that. So not just teachers, everyone from any categories, any categories. So sometimes we just target those like kind of who face down towards the students, like finger pointing. No, not that. Everyone, as long as we are Buddhist practitioner, everyone is a start with adorning the qualities of the 3 higher trainings, 3 higher trainings. Someone, whether you are beginner or whether you are a senior or anyone, Sangha or lay, you will be defined how good practitioner you are, how great practitioner you are, how great reliable you are, how trustworthy you are in the Dharma is determined based on the commitment in 3 higher trainings. Not about the certificate that you carry, not about the throne, how high you sit, not about the reputation in the conventional world, how much you have. So I think this is a very, very powerful teaching that we all should know from very beginning, especially for newcomers. From very beginning, if you know this teaching, then you are like fully prepared, and so you yourself kind of like have all the protection to travel without hindered by any obstacles on the way, so like that. Verse 42, though everyone may honor you as a spiritual teacher, if you do not bear the great responsibility of the entire teaching, but eagerly pursue your own self-centered interests, you should be spat on by the noble ones. So this one is specifically focusing on those who preach Dharma, spiritual teachers, specifically. So then here, if you do not bear the great responsibility of the entire teaching, the great responsibility of entire teaching, can be understood. The earlier mentioned the 3 higher training, but then but also, can be understood in these 3 categories. For your own spiritual benefit, for your own spiritual benefit, the strictness in the samaya, the strictness in the precepts, the strictness in the disciplines, whether you are lay teacher or whether you are ordained teacher. If it's a lay teacher, minimum refuge vow, minimum 5 lay vows. You see, the strictness in that for your own spiritual development. Then, if it's ordained, then on top of that, then the Vinaya vows, as I mentioned before. You see, and if someone is already practicing Tantra, then the strictness and the seriousness in the observation of the Bodhisattva and Tantric vows. So these are all tools, the responsibility to your own spiritual growth, On the basis of that, then the responsibility in the Dharma to bring benefit to other is the qualification, the knowledge, keva, well equipped with the full knowledge. You see, so if in order to lead the disciple, through the whole path. If someone regard you as a teacher, Dharma teacher, and a spiritual guru, you cannot take them, just halfway, isn't it? If someone just regard as you are like teacher to that particular subject, then it's all right. But if someone regarding you as my spiritual guru, someone regarding you as my spiritual friend, meaning that you submit yourself under the guidance of that individual teacher, then you are responsible from very first step, from very beginning, all the way up to the enlightenment. So you need to equip the knowledge of, the teaching on all the gradual path, in order to lead the disciple gradually from the small scope all the way up to the higher scope of Tantra, then to the enlightenment. You see, so equipping with correct, well, and complete knowledge. You see, not a partial knowledge. If someone that who is guru or your spiritual friend or teacher, then you need to equip all the necessary complete knowledge, which is the main tool to offer benefit to others. So, sang. So then, the qualities of loving and compassionate heart. Loving and compassionate heart. That is the tool to benefit both. Benefit in particularly the relationship. From teacher to disciple. Disciple to the teacher. That cultivation is one of another most essential to the benefit of disciple leading from beginning to all the way up to the state of full enlightenment. The quality of loving, compassionate. So here, the great responsibility of the entire teaching, the practice of three higher training, and the practice of the three, the well equipped with the knowledge, well disciplined, and compassionate, loving and compassionate. So if you are not equipped with that, if you are not taking full responsibility in that, then instead of if you don't have that quality, then naturally, it will occur error, in leading disciple. So it will lead to the error of pursuing your own self-centered interests, in the name of spiritual teacher, or spiritual friend. You see, so if such thing happen, then you should be smart. You should be. This is as I mentioned before, using a very strong word. Spit on by the noble ones. So means will be discarded by the noble ones. By yes, spat on by the noble ones. They are spiritual gurus. They are and the Buddhas, the noble one, the Buddhas, they are spiritual gurus. Then the deities and Dharma protectors will eliminate them. Will eliminate them. Will they encounter? They may encounter a lot of obstacles. In their spiritual development. You see, so it's talking about like that. So in another understanding, as anyone who are preaching Dharma, who have disciples, who themselves regard as responsibility to lead others on the path, then we have to look into our own characteristics, whether those characteristics are intact or not. If not, then we need to gather those characteristics. If you have, then you need to preserve that very very steadily, and you have to preserve intact. Like that. So it's talking about that. So verse 43, though all may elevate you as excellent, when the self-grasping view stray in the jungle of wrong view, you remain a threat, like a tigress devouring her own cubs. You should be slain by the oath-bound protectors. Mm. Then again, this one is referring to anyone that who who hold the responsibility in preservation or leading Dharma. In another way, you can understand, you can relate to any Buddhist practitioners. All of us, in our own capability. We preserve the Dharma, isn't it? Mm, you know, but then especially. Uh, es- um, yeah, so this includes every one of us, who practice the Dharma. Then if we um, mm, mm, if we carry the wrong views, wrong views of self-grasping and self-cherishing, you know mm, uh, self-centered attitudes, self-grasping, of there's no sense of, there's no, not even kind of influence of even a little way of understanding of no self. And who hold a very strong grasping, onto your views and your ways, in a very like you know the grasping, like the grasping in true existence, grasping in inherent existence, etc. Then you remain a threat to yourself, and you remain threat to others, threat to the community, because you remain threat to yourself, threat to your virtue. Because as long as you cultivate self-grasping and self-cherishing attitude, as long as you hold the wrong view in those negative emotions, then it destroy one's virtues. So that's why you will remain as a threat to your own virtue. When you cultivate self-grasping and self-cherishing attitude, then this self-grasping, self-cherishing attitude manifests into different phases, like anger, strong attachment, strong anger, strong jealousy, strong ego, pride. So whenever you generate an example, like how negatively it emphasizes about the faults of anger, like in the Buddhacharya, like the chapter 6, we all know. So that kind of threat that remain to our virtues, it destroy our iman of virtues. So it destroy our path, it destroy our spiritual development. Then also, as long as you live in those grasping, and wrong view, then it also become threat to others, threat to the society. Your energy becomes so low, energy becomes so negative, that will directly or indirectly, harm other beings. It's very much like you become like a, tigers devouring her own cubs. So when you cultivate self-grasping, self-cherishing attitude, then the most cherished of your value is the virtuous value, the meritorious value, and that will be that will be destroyed. Like that will be very 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 harshly will be destroyed. Like those virtuous immune system will be completely eaten away by your own misconception. Like the hungry tiger. When the tiger is hungry, then that hallucinate the tiger's understanding. then even most cherished cup will be eaten up, and so similar way, when we harbor any form of negative emotions and wrong views, then it is such a harmful for our spiritual growth and for our virtues. So it's talking about that. So you should be slain by the oath-born protector. So then, so you can also be understand that when you practice the Dharma in whatever level, even you take the refuge in Buddha Dharma Sangha, but in the mind of the wrong view of self-grasping, self-charging attitude, then it can not only no benefit, but it can be harmful. Then if you take the like Sangha, monastic Sangha vows, then you disrupt, you destroy the vows. Then if you take the Buddhist vows, then you transgress the Buddhist vows. If you take the tantric vow, you transgress the tantric vows. If you take someone as a guru and you transgress the guru disciple samaya, then that transgression is so heavy that even the Dharma protectors will come and punish you. You see, you should be slayed by the oath-born protector. Oath-born protector, referring to the Dharma protectors, especially of those Dharma protector who, So Dharma protectors, they comes in two categories. One is ordinary, and others are in Arya beings categories. Arya categories. Many of those Dharma protectors in the past, they are like witches. They are monsters. How to say? Like a blood drinkers and harm givers. Then by the great meditators, Buddhas, high realized beings, subdue them, and make them take the commitment, make them take the commitment from that very onward to protect and assist, the practitioners on the path. But then also to look after the practitioners. If they don't observe the precept purely, if they transgress, then also to remind them, through signs, through if you use a bit harsh word, then punish them. You see, punish them. So. The actual meaning, the punishing is here is to make us realize in many skillful ways, and that can be even very harsh way to remind us to wake up, from the wrong views, wrong views and the ignorance, and the wrong views and the ignorance that which you cloud to see the faults that you have committed. And if you don't wake up from there, you suffer for eons in the lower realms. You see. So, but then due to very heavy destruction, that we are not easy to wake up, not easy to realize that we have transgressed, those vows and those precepts, because we have so many flowery, self-grasping and self-cherishing, illustrated views about, views about accepting there's no harm, no faults in transgrading those precepts, like Bodhisattva precepts, it's okay, it doesn't, I'm I don't see any benefit. Rather, I give up. Rather I should just concern about my own well-being. I just let go, thinking about the well-being of the rest of the sentient being. You give up with the sort of precepts. Then you say, oh, guru is still, similar like us. They still get sick, they still get old, like ourselves. And also when I take the initiation, I don't feel there's some suddenly kind of like blessing onto me. Yeah, during the initiation, it's very exciting with a lot of sounds and a lot of rituals and a lot of noise and a lot of this and that. Yeah, but then after that, I don't see any kind of difference. So that's I think it doesn't make sense. So you give up your tantric initiation commitments, precepts. uh, then the gurus, the relation to the guru, you kind of give up by undermining their manifestation in ordinary form, which in fact came to benefit you in that way, because of the hallucinated, the wrong view, uh, you know that really block us to see the spiritual benefit in that. You see, so we have also that kind of obstacles, you see, of wrong views, then it's so difficult for us to get out from that. So then Dharma protectors, very much come in that position to really, uh, using so many different skillful means to give a sign for you to get out from those hallucinations. And in some way, uh, you know, in some way, it can be so drastic that, yeah, it can be so drastic that, uh, very, very hard. It can be so drastic, in some case, your existence of life becomes so harmful to your own well-being and harmful for others, even after you met the Dharma. Then that will lead to a very heavy and long-term, suffering in the lower realm. And the Dharma protectors comes in even in the form of, stopping to this life and proceeding to the next life. Even such thing also could happen. But in our ordinary understanding, it's so difficult to understand how could this possible, because we only see this, short-term benefit of this lifetime. But then the those who in the position like Dharma protectors, they understand what is most beneficial to to you now and in the long-term future, and based on that, they make a decision, like that. Yeah. So in summary, understanding is, if you don't observe the precepts, whatever samayas, whatever commitments, whatever practices that you hold, if you don't practice properly, if you transgress them, then the Dharma protectors if you transgress them, then it becomes harmful to you. So in order not to be harmful to you and harmful to the others, then the Dharma protector comes in to help you to regain the mindfulness in the observations of your practices. So it's talking about that. Then verse 44, though you may be clad in the saffron and have an appealing, tranquil countenance, if you still harbor evil like a cat left in the midst of pigeons, this is irre this is irredeemable conduct for someone in the holy Greece. So you better look at your text. My reading is very poor. Irredeemable, conduct for someone in the holy Greece. You should be thrust into the mouth of the she demons. So again, this one is specifically talking about sanghas, monks and nuns. Though you may be clad in the saffron, means though you may be wearing sangha robes, then not only that, have appealing kind of appearances, like you wear the sangha robe, you look so humble, so peaceful, so smiling, uh, uh, so appealing and approachable. Outwardly, outwardly, the robes, the facial, the speech, it looks all so wonderful. But if you still harbor ill will, ill will, like attachment, you still harbor attachment, then you become like a prey, like a cat left in the midst of pigeon. Like when the cats, when cats be within the prey, what you call the pigeons, then like it doesn't be very wild, isn't it? It's very calm, very peaceful, very gentle. Then suddenly you eat the pigeon, you kill the pigeon, isn't it? Like tigers, how they chase after their prey. First they're so gentle, so quiet, so peaceful, then suddenly boom, like that, isn't it? So when you harbor desirous attachment, you become like the cat left in the midst of pigeon. Uh, then similar, someone whose nature, who never subdue your anger, i- you know very much, that you are very impatient person, ill will, like you are very impatient person, very angry person. Then because of the ropes, because of the rope, you control, you try to talk nicely, peacefully, you you have the appearance of sangha, but then little trigger from the disciples or from friends and from people around you, you burst out, you burst out. You really can be shocked and shaken, yeah, everyone around you, Mm, mm. Then similar with the jealousy, if you harbor jealousy, similar way. So if you harbor um, ego-centered mind, because of the sangha robe, it says because of renounced robe. The sangha means renounced person. You naturally kind of, the moment you wear the robes, it's like it kind of like control you, to be more subdued. But then your heart is not subdued. The heart is not renounced from this different negative emotions. uh, then one become like the cat in the midst of the pigeon, like that. So so as a Dharma practitioner, as a Mahayana Dharma practitioner, as a Buddhist practitioner, and this is inappropriate, irredeemable, inappropriate conduct for someone like a practitioner, in particularly someone like a sangha, monks or nuns, like that. So you should be thrust into the mouth of the she demons. So you as a sangha, then you harbor all this negative emotion, then the she demons here referring to the Dharma protectors, such as like Paldon Lhamo, like Paldon Lhamo, the legend of Paldon Lhamo, she was like a blood drinker demon of before. Then she was subdued and she became one of the most powerful Dharma protector, who assists practitioners to the correct path. You see, so if we, especially, you take the vow of monks and nuns, and you don't you don't observe the vow purely, observe the vow purely from your heart, and you just wear the Sangha sign, carry the name of Sangha, wearing the Sangha robes, but then the attitude, angry, desires, attachment, jealousy, malicious, conceit, then it is, you will be just a matter of time that you will be disciplined by she demons, disciplined by such as Dharma Protectors, such as like Paldon Lhamo, like that. So, in the Sangha community, in generally in the Dharma community, and especially in the Sangha community, one of the most important element is harmony. Harmony. And this harmony comes when individual sanghas or individual community members start to express what they harbor in their heart, like jealousy, anger, attachment grasping, conceit, malice, etc. Then they express that. They how to say, either they express in the word and action, or they quietly, like the cat, quietly or unnoticingly, you disharmonize among the Sangha community. Then it's regarded one of the heinous crime in the spiritual practice, is regarded one of the heinous crime. It's a very heavy consequences. The how heavy it is, like here, like what say, you should be thrust into the mouth of the she demon. So the Dharma Protectors will come after you. You see, so that's why in the monasteries you can see every monastery, every nunnery, every monastery, there's a section of Dharma Protector. So different monasteries, different nunneries, based on the karmic connection, or through the spiritual observation, they have a designated Dharma Protector. And also in Dharma organizations and the Dharma centers also have also can have, mostly have. And if you don't have, you can also check, what kind or which Dharma Protector is suitable to you. It can be so beneficial. It's like kind of like having a CCTV, to your community, to your spiritual practice. Is, the Dharma Protectors are, in fact, it's the invisible captain, invisible discipliner, invisible discipliner. So when you have a good understanding, how the Dharma Protectors relation works to your spiritual practice, you don't need a person, you don't need a physical person to guide you. You don't need a physical person to discipline you. You see, you don't need physical person to discipline you. So for your spiritual life, indoor and outdoor, everything become transparent. It become transparent because of the understanding and conviction and the relation that you have in the Dharma Protector. That's why Dharma Protectors are one of very, very important elements in virtuous institutions like monastery, nunneries, and also in your own individual spiritual institutions, your individual spiritual journey, spiritual life. You see, it's so powerful that anywhere you are, everywhere you are, you are always disciplined. So otherwise, we can do wrong in any time. When you are among people, you behave so nicely. In the closed door, closed door, you do all the negativities. There's a danger. As a human nature, it's a danger. You see. You see. So like when you wear the robe, it's like also Sangha, like here, especially like Sangha, when you wear the robes, then you are very disciplined. The moment you put off the robes, then as if nobody noticed you as a Sangha, then you behave like a wild, spoiled individual. So you see, so Sangha is not about the robe. The Sangha is about the commitment, the recognition in your heart, the observation of the vow is in your heart. So whether you like within 24 hours when you go to bed, even the holinesses, they take off, they take off their robes, their saffron robes will be put aside. They wear ordinary pajama, or whatever. Then you go inside the blanket. If you are sleeping naked, you will be just wearing a white, cube on the white bed sheet. There's no saffron robe there, isn't it? But you, and in that position, you cannot lose your identity as a Sangha. Just because of you don't have the sign of the Sangha, which is the cloth or the robes, or you cannot lose the identity of the Sangha because there's nobody watching you. You see, so the pure Sangha, the Sangha is as long as you have the awareness, as long as your mind is awake from asleep, then the recognition of I am monk, I am nun, I am a Sangha is always has to be there. You see, so that's one of the main practice of the Sangha. You see, so and the practice of the protector, bringing a protector in your life is so helpful. As a beginner, is so helpful. Knowing the characteristic of the protector, you naturally kind of like always disciplined and always watched, vividly, clearly, 24 hours without even like one moment of like closing the eye of the protector, always watching every single thought, not only physical, but every single, the real basis, which is the awareness, the recognition, the vow, the precept, the heart, you see. So basically, all should have a protector. All should have a protector. So if you belong to a monastery, let's say like Serajé, I belong to Serajé, I belong to Kobon Monastery. Like Serajé, Kobon Monastery, their main Dharma Protector. You can have many Dharma Protectors. So our main Dharma Protector is Hayagriva. So Hayagriva, So like as an example, as a young monk, teenage, young monk, when you are in the monastery, like in the Sera, not much about concern of transgressing the Vinaya vows, like especially like transgressing these 4 root vows, Vinaya root vows. But as a student, as a newcomer, and as a student, we cannot waste even 1 minute of not studying the scripture. Few hours sleep, then of course, half an hour or whatever for meal time. Other than that, your 24 hours, and other than that, entire rest of the hours, either you have to memorize the scripture, either you have to contemplate on the scripture, either you have to read the scripture, either you have to attend the classes of the scripture, so you cannot get distracted at all. But then even though physically also for the newcomers we have like a room teacher, very much that you live together in the room teacher. Then on top of that, you have a responsible teacher, which is generally responsible for your well-being, who will also be watching over you. Then after that, your hostel teacher, who also watching over you. Then after that, there comes in the main house institution, the comes in teacher, that also watching over you. Then after that, the your individual, the education teachers, like your scripture teachers or different teachers, the memorization teacher, philosophy text commentary teacher, etc. You can have a few teachers. All of them are watching over you. Then on top of that, the monastic discipliner, which is one of the most intense one, who is watching over you. Then on top of that, then we have a regard. Hayagriva is watching over you all the time. So even though throughout the day to day, of course, not all those mentioned teachers are together, like always like surrounding you and watching over, not like that, But whichever direction you move, from your room to outside, to here, to there, doing, within the activities of that college or the monastery, one of the teacher is very much present everywhere. Yeah. But then again, when you go to toilet, your teacher won't accompany you, isn't it? And when you go to sleep in your bed, you cover yourself in the bed. Your teacher will not come into the bed to watch over you, isn't it? And more than that, they cannot. Maybe some of the teachers are omniscient, enlightened being, but many could be just ordinary senior monk that who's watching over you, isn't it? So they cannot intrude into what you are thinking, what your heart, whether you're purely observing your vow, whether you are, harboring any ill will or not, what all those delusion or not, so now the Hayagriva comes, the Dharma Protector comes in the picture, that who directly can see through your heart, you see. So in that way, all the time, wherever you try to keep your heart pure, not only your speech keep pure, your body language keep pure, and always all your senses are fully focused on the scripture studies, virtuous accumulations, but most importantly, your heart always get disciplined, and because of the faith and conviction and the relation that you have with your Dharma Protector, you see. So this is how our life goes on, like that, you see. And it is so wonderful that literally, it doesn't let you waste your time. Literally doesn't let you accumulate, at least intentionally doesn't let you accumulate any negativities, and at least, heart-wise, always pure. Physically, other people may see that you are doing wrong thing. Other people may see you are talking wrong thing. Other people may see that, your physical action and the verbal actions are not kind of like a fully disciplined. People may interpret that way. But as far as concerned with your heart, if you have this special relationship with your protector, then no question, no question. Even you commit any wrongdoing from your body and speech, those negative karmas are not complete karma, not complete negative karma, because there's no intention. The intention has to come from your heart, isn't it? No intention there. As we all know, to commit a full karma, you need to have the 4 bases to complete the full karma, isn't it? 4 bases. The first one is the intention, you see. So your intention, Dharma Protector, protect you, never to have a negative motivation, negative thinking, toward any action. So even accidentally you step on ants, there's no full karma of killing the ants. You see, even you happen to scold, accidentally because of your habitual, you happen to scold somebody, but there's no intention to scold others. You see, even you accidentally you hit somebody and someone fell down and hurt badly, but you have no ill will to hurt. That's why you didn't create the full negative karma. So it's so powerful. So powerful, so important. You see. So now, right now, some of you may be thinking that, oh, I don't have a Dharma Protector. How? So you can take, if you wish to practice Dharma Protector, if if you belong to certain institution, certain monasteries, nunneries, or certain centers, then from that center, what Dharma Protector they have, then you can choose that as your Dharma Protector. That also can be done. Then, if not, then you know that your guru's Dharma Protector. Then, since you have the same spiritual channel through your guru, without doubt, that Dharma Protector will be perfect, compatible to you. So you can take the guru's Dharma Protector as your Dharma Protector. You see, like as I mentioned before, my monastery, like Sarah J Monastery, like Koban Monastery, the main Dharma Protector is the Hayagriva. Then I regard the Hayagriva as naturally my Dharma Protector. Like that. You see. Then, if individuals are already practicing tantric deities, or you are practicing specific, practice relation to specific Buddhas, like 35 Buddhas, medicine Buddhas, etc., then these individual Buddhas and individual deities also have a specific Dharma Protectors. So the Dharma Protectors are very much like the attendant to these Buddhas and the deities. You see, so like if you practice like Chenrezig, like such as 6-arm Mahakala, 4-arm Mahakala, like 6-arm Mahakala, it's a Dharma Protector Chenrezig. So most of us who practice Chenrezig, so like you can take 6-arm Mahakala as your Dharma Protector. So many of you practice Yamentaka, then Kalarupa is like your Dharma Protector. Like His Holiness Dalai Lama, take Paldon Lhamo as a Dharma Protector. So we are all His Holiness Dalai Lama's disciple. So we can take Paldon Lhamo as our Dharma Protector. You see, so like that. You see, so when you start to practice Dharma Protector, then you will have a sense of very very stable mindfulness to protecting our 3 doors from negativities. Then even accidentally, unintentionally, we commit any negativities through our past habitual habits, then we will have shame of those negativities, and we will regret of those negativities, and we will, without delay, immediately we have this mindfulness to purify them. Mindfulness purify them. You see, so it's a very very powerful practice like that. Oh, okay. The latter one also similar. So verse 45, though you may command 90,000, if your heart remain untamed like Vishnu, emitting rays of attachment and anger to the 10 directions, you should be tossed into Yamantaka's mouth. So this is very much similar to the earlier one, though you may be command 90,000, like here referring to especially like those leaders and the rulers, as I mentioned before, um, mm, um, um, you know, like in a Dharma organization, like monasteries, nunneries, like abbots and abbots, in a lay Dharma society, like directors and SPCs, uh, then gurus, who lead many disciples, or then those, the leading teams of the organizations, Dharma organizations, uh, then comparison between lay and the Sangha. Sanghas are the example, like a leader, to many others, on the path, and like the Sanghas, etc. Then, and even in the individual level, like yourself in the family, you are the senior practitioner, or you are the only Buddhist practitioner in the family. Then you are also, have the responsibility of leading, your rest of the family in the not to damage the faith in the Buddha, not to condemn the faith in Buddha, even if they don't follow, but not to condemn because of your wrongdoings, so command 90,000 is referring to the leaders, though you may be a great leader, if your heart remain untamed like a Vishnu. So Vishnu is the second god in the Hindu, Trimurti, consists of the three ultimate gods, who are responsible for creating, upkeep, and destructions of the world. So the two letters are one, the Brahma and Shiva. So the Vishnu is one of those three. It's a worldly god, who regarded, with full of lust and hate, for the protection of its own empire, etc. So if your heart remain untamed like a Vishnu, emitting rays of attachment and anger to the 10 directions, very, very pervasively and aggressively, then you should be tossed onto Yamantaka's mouth. Then we, as a practitioner, here the Yamantaka, the definitive meaning, is referring to the wrathful aspect of the Yamantaka, who consume the greatest obstacles, who smash, greatest harm givers, Then interpretive Yamantaka is emptiness, emptiness, talking about that. So there's a two way of understanding. If those of who mentioned before, practitioners, you harbor attachment and anger, then you should be tamed. You should be tamed by the Yamantaka. You should be punished or tamed by the Yamantaka. This also can be understand. It can relate to the protector. The Yamantaka here also can refer to the Yamantaka's, the attendant, the Kalarupa, etc. It's within the Yamantaka's mandala, who will give a sign that you have much accumulation of negativities, and give a sign to, bring about purification, in many different skillful ways, including, the lawful, uh, like that. So, in another understanding is that whenever that you realize that, you are harboring, your heart is harboring with the delusions like attachment and anger, then immediately utilize the antidote of emptiness to purify them, to purify them. So you should be thrust into Yametaka's mouth, means you should purify them in the space of emptiness, in the space of emptiness, like that. Okay, so today I plan to finish the whole chapter, but unable to. So I will stop here and we will continue from next week. So thank you very much. So we will do a short dedication. So we dedicate this collective merit and all the merit that individually accumulated in the past, present, and future, and also the merit that accumulated by past, present, and future Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Arahats, and Gurus. Collectively be the complete cause for numberless sentient beings to be purified. Suffering, karma, it is then the delusion, and actualized from temporary happiness virtues up to the ultimate happiness of enlightenment and perfected virtues of the enlightened qualities accordingly. Also dedicate this collective merit to overcome this pandemic around the world. Especially there's threat of like a third wave that which could be even more drastic than in the past. So may our collective merit be the complete cause and condition to overcome this pandemic and actualize the cure, most effectively, swiftly in all beings, and everyone able to, have a normal, transform, and virtuous life. Also dedicate this collective merit to pacify and overcome all the natural disasters that I mentioned before, including, there's a fire in Yakutia region in Russia, then Turkey, etc. Unbelievable fire destructions. Humans are suffering, yes, but more than that, so many numberless insect, wild animals, birds, bacteria, they suffer. You see, so we must keep them in our, not only in this dedication prayer, but we also should keep them in our day-to-day, in every virtuous practices. If you are watching news and if you see any of this news, then after that you find, if possible, you find time to do a short meditation on compassion and sending metta to all those suffering beings. Then can recite whatever mantra that you know. At least everybody knows compassion in Buddha's mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum, which is one of the most powerful. That you dedicate that to them. It will be so powerful, so beneficial. And also dedicate this collective merit to all the people who are unwell due to COVID, due to any form of diseases, or who are suffering from any form of obstacles in life, such as Albert, Astin, Rhodes, Dawn, Sasha, Kiri, Chengo, Vika, Codina, and Alina, Jozengo, Chris Price, Leong Wen Chian, Dr. Lee, Geshe, Madam Wong, David, Madam Chenmi Lerang, Judy Wakeford, Done Bats, Gan Kim Sem, Rachel, and also those others that who have requested prayers from me, requested prayers from our gurus, requested prayers from you, and including those of people who have even who didn't request a prayer, but we know that they are in trouble, they're in difficulties, and we dedicate our this collective merit for them to overcome all these obstacles and actualize perfect, happy, healthy, meaningful life accordingly. And also dedicate this collective merit to all the beings that who died, from the flood, from the fire, crisis around the world, and from COVID, and from any form of reasons that beings, transit from life to death in these 6 realms, and especially those who pass away within the last 49 days. May our collective merit, then including, those who requested prayers like Chi So Chuan, Lu Yong Kon, Te Yek Cheng, Gani Yonzom, Grayson, Shang Shi So, Zhang Xiu Sheng, etc. All of them purify their hallucinational suffering of death, suffering of intermediate state, suffering of rebirth, and actualize higher rebirth in Amitabha Pure Land, and where they actualize state of full enlightenment within that very lifetime. May this collective merit be a complete cause for for all the world leaders, leaders of the institutions, the leaders of the communities, leaders of the family, and ourselves who lead our own life, be free from all the negative emotions and actualize all the attitude of loving kindness, compassion, forgiveness, positivities, and the wisdom of selfless, so that anyone under their leadership can able to enjoy only virtues, peace, happiness accordingly. May this collective merit be a complete cause for all the beneficial people for the world peace and happiness of sentient being, like His Holiness Dalai Lama, Gyaltsen Lama Subrahmanyam, all your spiritual gurus, all the sanghas, then yourself, your family members, always enjoy perfect health, long life, fulfill all your aspirations accordingly. May this collective merit be a complete cause for all the virtuous institutions like monasteries, nunneries, dharma centers, including your altar room, prayer rooms, overcome all the inner outer secret obstacles and actualize all the conditions to preserve the Dharma, preserve the virtue in most extensive learning and actualizing realization on the entire stages of the path accordingly. May this collective merit be a complete cause. May we all able to practice our practices in the Dharma, whatever way, whether we are serving the Dharma, practicing the Dharma, by observing monastic vows, by observing retreats, by observing initiations, by observing refuge, 5-lay vows, by observing studies, contemplation, meditation, or working for the Dharma, working for sentiment, whatever way, may be able to observe purely by overcoming all the wrong views and false and negative emotions, like what we just discussed in the teaching. And may our life be most pure, most meaningful, and not even one moment of negative thoughts arises, even one moment of negativities occur in our body, speech, and mind. May our life, may our every single moment, every single atom of our body, our existence, every single rhythm of our speech be the positive, virtuous, energy, influence, atmosphere in the universe, in the entire existence. Ourself, the dedicator, the merit, and the purpose we dedicate all lies in the nature of emptiness. So if if you have any individual specific dedications to make, so well, I do some prayers, dedication prayers. You dedicate, especially it can be so effective, so powerful to do dedication in this collective platform. Together, collecting all the other collective merits, then through you, channeling with your virtue and merit, and you dedicate specifically to, especially to those who have your special karmic connection, like your spouse, your children, your relatives, etc. You'll be so powerful, numberless more powerful than one person individually doing dedication. So you do that, okay? Jawadi Nudo Lama Sanja Dujun Doa Chijamaleba de Salango Barajo, Chanjo Semjorin Bojema Japanam Kiju Jawani Bameba and Gone Gondo Parish, Tony Tower and Bojema Japanam Kiju Jawani Bameba. Gone Gondo Bevajorim Yadawar and Bojema Japanam Kiju Jawani Bameba and Gone Gondo Parish, Pama Semjetam Jedenda, they using Rotam Jetado, the Chanjo Sembakana Sujo. The Dagunja Molan Dojo, Jambe Power, Jimba Kundo, somebody at this in the Dagunja, Daloji Java, the Tamjero, the Zojebe Java, Tamjedongo, Kalanchudong over the Daji Jevets over the Gun. Sambo Jera don't over Jes and Geneva, Jinya, Banyu, the Tajujo, and the Nemada, Dojo, Barai, show. Carrera Vegoving on the bend on the one Maluju and Jeres and one Jazo Shabes, but the Tenju, Topso Change, Jango Jave, the Job Bebecozo, Dobo, Choson Gobel, to Doba. Dazo de Jegondo, Jabde, Jojawa Gondo, Yandalama, Tamichi, Bella Lonjo, Sadalam, and the Razon, Doje, Change Comba, Nyodo, Jojum, the Dijaba, Rajama, and the Bazovas and Yamana, Javola Charles, or Chijo, Sambakudo, Sambola Charles. Diadon Benzadia over the name of the damages, or Diadon Benzadia over the name of the damages, or Diadon Benzadia over the name of the damages. Diadon Benzadia over the name of the damages, or Diadon Benzadia over the name of the damages, or Diadon Benzadia over the name of the damages. Diadon Benzadia over the name of the damages, or Diadon Benzadia over the name of the damages. From the Dijaba Rajama and the Bazovas. Mengela Bindo Jabala Chaza, Lojum, the Dijaba Rajama and the Bazovas and Yamo, the Molanda Gerado to be. Yabola Jaze, Lo Shaji Omba Demba, Obama, and Sada Jeres, the Chego, the Mona Jim. Nudo, Jomejo Javela, that the Loa Mebe, Hassan Namda Mebe. Do Joro, Bedazo, Mikabish, no, but the same Jera walk with the Samba Chichen. Taji, Jo, the budget comes to Juma, the manuation does away the pollution of the Batemba Urin. Taji, Monte, Sendel, and Yemeko, and the legend is a total telephone conjo, some yet Tashi, sure. Thank you very much. Thank you. Take care. Take care. Okay. Take care of each other. Take care. Bye-bye.